Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of the Amazon Prime film. Well, it's not an Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime.
It's hosted on Amazon.
It's hosted on Amazon Prime. This is our first. I've reviewed movies in the past by myself, but this is our first collaborative effort to collect. If you look down in the bottom, Butt Boy. And not a porn, not anything. It is probably one of the most original films, I'll be honest with you, that I've seen in a really long time. And I know from the title and everything, because we were sitting around going, I want to do movie reviews, but I just don't want to do movie reviews. I want to find crazy stuff. Like I had texted today, y'all, we need to cover Xanadu from 1980 with Olivia Newton-John, because I just want to see Tyler's face. But anyway, this whole concept, my husband found this movie. And hey Beth. Hey girl.
I joined and I just put my headphones in and then I heard this movie and
sorry.
That kind of sounded like Rennie from Big Brother 10, and now I wish she was here to recap Butt Boy with us.
I know.
It's ridiculous. Inappropriate. The whole movie.
It's totally inappropriate. But I was just saying that, this is our first review together. And instead of just reviewing regular movies, we were like, let's find something crazy, kind of off the cuff or something funny, So Butt Boy came up. My husband found it and he was like, this is right up your alley.
Right up your hole.
This is right up your hole.
Right up your whole alley.
Alley. No pun intended. Now, I know you're asking yourself, what could this movie be about? This is about a guy with an addiction. He has an addiction. His addiction is he puts objects and living things into his rectum, and these things live in his butthole.
Yeah.
I mean, literally live and grow in his butthole. Now, this movie is about a guy named Chip. Okay, wait, hold on. I don't have a bunch of notes, but this guy named Chip, who's obviously...
The notes weren't really necessary so much. Just the list that I know that Tyler took.
Yes.
Was necessary.
This guy is miserable. He hates his job. He's in a cubicle 8 hours a day. I can totally relate. The film opens up with doing typical office stuff where you're doing so-and-so made sales. Let's all do a ridiculous dance and blah, whatever. And just total white people. Okay. It is total sprinkler. Every white person cliche day. It's so funny. It's so good. So this guy's just miserable with his life. He goes home. He's got a baby, his wife. His wife is number one in this movie. She's something else. She, expresses to the baby, Daddy's going to have his first prostate exam tomorrow. And that's when all the shit breaks loose. I'm so full of these tonight.
I mean, it's the little poke up there is the gateway drug to
I feel like it really wrecked him.
Oh, see, is this thing working? We're here all night. Tip your waitress.
Oh,
it's gonna happen.
I'm so fucking proud of that joke. I can't even laugh at it because I'm more proud than I do find it funny. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just proud.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, Beth. And I'm sure the one person that's watching us right now is also proud of us.
Yes, be very proud. This guy gets his prostate exam and decides he likes having things in his rear end. And he goes home and he starts putting things in his butt and decides, oh my God, this is a problem. I'm addicted for it. There is no meetings for such a thing that I know of, having things in your butt. I don't know. I could be wrong. Correct me, please.
I mean, being a gay man that lives in New York City, I even haven't heard of such things.
Listen,
I feel like you would have almost a little bit more credibility if you were a WeHo gay, and that's about it,
Right.
I don't even know what that is.
West Hollywood.
Okay.
Arguably, or like maybe if you were like a Palm Springs gay or, Something like that. No. But that's what you know what? I'm not going to lie. There was a part of me that was really nervous about this, right? That there was just going to be this idea that because of a rectal exam, this guy, while there's a lot of like truth to what they actually did in the movie, I was nervous it was going to turn into this idea that like men who like gay sex or anal sex or whatever are villainous, because we've seen that a lot. And that's not really, I mean, while there is some of that aspect of it, it really didn't come from a place of shaming.
No,
it came from a place of like comedy, and I really appreciated that. But I got nervous about it. Like, the one thing I need to go over with this though is when he does the rectal exam, the doctor literally looked like he was like, all right, assume the position. And then he kind of like forced him down like he was some kind of dom, and then was like, ugh! And it was like, damn, did you even put lube on that finger? Because
he was all like, did you? Yeah.
Well, hold on. Like, Allison had no idea. Like, so we were all watching this movie together, right?
Yes.
And so once the prostate exam scene happens, Allison unmutes herself and she's like,
oh, shit, of course. You're just going to do this to me, aren't you?
she didn't know where the prostate was or like what it serves, and I almost feel like we needed to get like another diagram kind of similar to this infamous one. But Allison, from your understanding now, what is a prostate?
Hold on a second. I know what a prostate is. Did you take my thing off?
What thing?
Hold on a second. Did you?
I didn't.
Oh, wait. I know it's in here.
Yes.
It's in the butthole.
An actual shot from the movie.
That's an actual shot. We can't show too much from the movie because it's copywritten. But I didn't know what a prostate. I'm not a doctor, and common sense will tell you. But I don't have a lot of that. Obviously, that's why the two of them are here. But I guess men. In that, if you're gay men who have intercourse through the rectum, there is a spot in there that feels
and
really
not just
nice.
Gay men, there are definitely other men who enjoy strap-on play, who enjoy a finger, that enjoy different things like that. And I will put out there, not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but that doesn't make you gay either, because there's that trope that gets put around out there. Just because you like stuff in your butt doesn't make you gay.
Right. And I didn't know.
Make you gay, that's okay.
I didn't know there was something in there that was satisfying for men. I just thought that it was I'm going to stop right there because
I think that's good.
I didn't know. Yeah, we're good right here.
Well, Allison, I have a guide for you that we're going to bring up to show you where exactly the prostate is.
Literally saved the same exact thing. Look at, I was literally about to upload it.
So Allison, wait, up there.
You gotta take this off for my Twitch.
Oh, I
gotta delete the spot. That is a violation of Twitch. So
okay. I'm sorry, Twitch. I'm sorry.
No. If we can, I just realized that. Can we remove my Twitch now that we've started on there?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody watching.
Okay, it's gone.
All right, thank you. I know this was more for educational purposes. It wasn't like meant to be sexual, so I don't think it's like
no, but
that
I know
bad.
Twitch is like pretty.
But Twitch is pretty big on that, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that bot. Go, okay, but continue.
Well, but yes, so here is the prostate gland, and so if something reaches up there and touches it, it feels pretty good for guys. So that's that's
it feels so good for our main character Chip that he proceeds to put things in his rectum and he becomes addicted to it. And let's explain the story because we're going to go through a list. But what we have here is a gentleman, like we said, Chip, and I've got to pull up the characters real quick because I want to make sure I don't have. Okay. So Chip Gutchell is the main guy and Russell Fox is the detective. Now there is a detective brought in because children are missing. In fact, his wife was at the park 9 years earlier with their baby son, and just so happens Chip was there. And then the next thing you know, his baby's missing and Chip is questioned about it and he doesn't know anything about it. And, long story short, he put the baby up his ass. They don't show and put the baby up his ass. Now we show a remote and a Monopoly piece and a dog and pretty much everything else that you can think of, but we don't actually see the baby go up the butt. So the story moves up 9 years.
I would just like to point out the dish scrubber was the one that really
don't worry. I have a whole tier list
affected me because I have one that looks just like that. And I literally, after we finished watching this, had to go into my kitchen and do dishes. And I picked it up and went,
Yeah, I mean, after this movie is over, like you certainly look at things around the room a little differently.
And you start thinking, somebody did say everything's a dildo.
Right.
So
everything is a dildo if you try hard enough. Yeah,
it's true.
Well,
I mean, I have this hourglass here, and now I just like can't look at it ever.
It really does look like it's some kind of butt plug.
It kind of does, yeah. But it's from Crate and Barrel.
Actually, to be fair, that would be relatively. Let's talk some real talk with sexual health here. That would be a relatively safe thing to do because there's a part that would make it harder. It wouldn't just because for those that don't know, if you are inserting things into your rectum, there's a kind of gravitational pull that happens, and that's why you need things that have some kind of end on them so they don't just get shoved up there, which is why people end up going to the emergency rooms, because unlike the vagina where there's an end to it, because like things aren't just going through the cervix where you can dig them out, it is much harder to do that in the rectum. So have something that has some kind of fatter end.
You need an exit strategy, basically.
Yeah, you need an exit strategy. And oh my God, there's that one person who like years ago put a fucking light bulb up his ass and then like it broke and shattered and like,
yeah.
Don't fucking do that kind of shit, people.
Well,
anyway,
on that note, I just wanted to show a picture of of the people we're about to start talking about. So you have an idea of what Chip and Detective Fox look like. I don't know how to follow that up.
So this is Detective Fox and this is Chip.
Basically.
And I'm the child.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can do this without can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I had to look up Butt Boy and, all of this crap just shows up.
Well,
so this is Detective Fox, who I described as Alec Baldwin doing William Baldwin doing a Stephen Baldwin impression. So this is the guy, the detective, going
the hero of the story.
Yeah, he's the hero, kind of a Robert De Niro kind of Baldwin.
There were literally times where he went,
yes. But let me tell you something. This actor committed. Yeah. These actors 100% committed to this film. They did not crack one time. So this is the Detective Fox. And now there he is again. Do you see him? Okay. So this here is Chip. Typical IT white man.
We cannot see him.
Okay. Well, hold on. This is new for me, everyone. I'm going to try this again. Where is it? It is right there.
There we go.
There is Chip, typical IT white man, part 2. Take again. Sticks things in his rectum. And he's in an unhappy marriage. And he goes to AA and gaslights as an alcoholic. Because as we've established, there is no group for this. There's also no explanation in this film at all as to how Chip here is able to do these things and not die from it.
Or have anything larger in his rectum, have it not get pushed out. Does he not have bowel movements?
Right.
How can he have a baby, a dog, an adult inside? Just things like that.
He puts this piece in his butt. I mean, assuming position. No. I told y'all that was the real thing. I told you that was a tagline.
That.
See what I'm saying?
That moment. So when he puts the little sorry game piece.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's from the game Sorry. I'm very familiar with the game Sorry, and the game piece in that capacity and not in the capacity that Chip knows it from. But when he did that, first of all, this is a man who has put a dog up his butt at this point. Yeah. And yet that little piece really got his socks off. And I'm intrigued because it's obvious that within the 9 years, he's kind of controlled his addiction, yes. Right? And it's just that Sorry piece says, sorry, I'm going to fuck up everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to wreck you.
Yeah. So
wrecked him. Wrecked him right up.
But this all changes when 9 years later, it's bring your kids to work day at the IT company or whatever where the hell ever Chip works, and a child goes missing. And that is when Detective Fox comes in and is
the child goes missing because all the kids are playing hide and seek. And,
right.
One kid hides and seeks a little too hard.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's his fault because, no. I mean, you know, but anyway, the detective is just interviewing everybody and he is on to Chip. He even goes to his lieutenant and says, this guy is putting things in his butt. And the guy's like, give me your badge, get out. It all comes to a head.
Allison, if somebody came to you with that story, what would your reaction be? Would you believe him?
Yes.
You would?
I would. I'd be like, I want to hear the more. What is making you think this guy's doing this? Because he's a small man. He's not large. He doesn't look like he's got gas. So how is he? What is happening here? Well, nobody believes this poor man, and it turns out, you know, his son is up this guy's ass, along with the remote.
That's the big plot twist of the whole movie.
Let's go over the list.
Yeah, so I have made a tier list that we're going to go through of all of the things that Chip puts up his butt throughout the course of the movie. And we're going to rank them in terms of, you know, what probably feels good and what probably doesn't feel good. So, you know, Chip is in the shower. He sees the bar of soap and he's getting some ideas.
At the beginning, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right after the prostate exam. So, you know, I had to give the bar of soap. I think this belongs in the S tier.
I was just going to say that's S tier. Out of everything he puts up there, that is going to feel the most lubricated. Mm-hmm. It's going to slide. Yeah. It's going to be, there's no sharp edges to it.
Plus, it's very sanitary, you know? So
it's a little too sanitary, but whatever.
Allison, what do you think?
I would never put anything in my butt, let alone soap, because you're going to itch.
Also, this is not in any order or anything. This is just how they uploaded.
Well, it helps us explain where we are in the movie.
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah. So next we have a perseverance plaque. Now,
this comes up missing in the office in the very beginning of the film after the prostate exam and the soap in the butt.
Well, this is when right before the kids are coming in for. So it's 9 years later.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is a very big point of contention for the boss. You know, this is what represents the office, and we can't believe that we can't figure out who stole this.
Yes.
It's you know, this is when like Chip's addiction is just like out of control, right? Like he's just like looking for like whatever to put up his hole. So you know, it's long, it's pointy. This can't feel good, right? Like this has to go in C, probably.
I'd give it a C tier, tier, B tier. At least it's in a similar shape of something. Some of these
are not. The tier again? What does this stand for? S, A, B, C, D. What does this stand for?
So like in school, Allison, if you got like A, B, C, D, this is just like, yes, this is good. D is like not good. S is like God tier, right? Like this is like best of the best.
Superior.
I actually don't know what S stands for.
I don't know. I've always equated it to superior. But
when I was in school, it was satisfactory.
Well, I never had satisfying.
E for excellent, S for satisfactory, and N needs improvement.
A-hole approved. No. A-hole approved for that one.
Oh, Lord have mercy. This is going down a rabbit hole. A-hole approved. Butt injury.
But first.
But first.
Hashtag.
But first.
Hashtag but first.
See.
Can't feel good. Can't feel good.
Cancel. Cancel that. Yeah, can't feel good.
Don't do
it. Yeah, I'm thinking the plaque needs to go in the don't do it. That's just me, though. I don't know.
All right. So next we have the Brillo brush that Beth said that she can never look at the same. If one point in favor of this is the exit strategy with the handle, right?
True.
And like you have the
That's where
soap
you
up
put it
there
in.
too, so like you can like keep things really clean up there. But the bristles, like, how good can that feel? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think this is a can't feel good.
Allison, what do you think?
Man, everything's just don't do it to me. But yeah, I can't feel good. I just wouldn't.
All right, next is a floppy disk.
Okay, can we talk about the floppy? Because what happened in the film is Chip works in the security department and controls the security footage. And one reason why Detective Fox is onto him is because he obtains the footage and there's obviously something cut out of it with the kid in it. And he's like, okay, I don't trust you. Something's going on. So in a panic, Chip has it on this disc and takes it home with him. And I guess he's having a hard time. I don't know. Sometimes you can't get things up there. He can put a Brillo pad, a Perseverance plaque, soap, but he can't get this little floppy disk in his booty hole. So he ends up hiding it under the bathroom sink. Well, one thing that we come to find out in the movie is Fox is an alcoholic, and he goes to one of these AA meetings, and oh my God, look who's there. It's Chip, and Chip becomes his sponsor, but he's the world's worst sponsor because he never responds to Fox. And
he's also not an alcoholic.
And he's also not an alcoholic. He's busy. But he invites the detective over for dinner with his family, and the detective is like, something is not right here, and he eats, and then he's dinner with him, and then he and I just want to point out the wife had a huge bottle of Chardonnay on the table with two alcoholics. Wife of the year. But anyway, he's leaving and turns around and says, well, Chip, I got a long drive home. I need to take a shit. Can I use the bathroom? And Chip's like, you got to go right now. And he's like, yeah, I got to go right now. He goes, here. He's like, well, else am I going to do it in your yard? Yes, here. He's like, yeah, you can use the downstairs bathroom. Well, that's the bathroom where the floppy's hidden under the sink. Well, Chip is outside the door. Maybe I should have had you use another bathroom or whatever, just completely drawing attention to this bathroom. And the detective finds the floppy under the sink, and comes out with his gun, and he's like, okay, the jig is up. I'm leaving with this floppy. He leaves with the floppy. Chip follows him. And this is when we find out how people get in his ass. Okay. They confront each other. They get in a fight, and he's, the detective punches him, and he runs and gets in his car. All of a sudden, the windows in Detective Fox's car explode. There's wind coming like a tornado. And I even said, if I look up and see this guy's ass cheeks up, I'm going to lose it. And I did. I had a heart attack.
That is 100% accurate.
It's so true.
That was said.
He looks in the mirror, as you saw, and that's how he gets everyone in his ass. He like fucking Twister, except I call it sphincter, and gets everyone in the sphincter Twister, but he gets away. He gets away, and he goes to his lieutenant. This is when he really goes to the lieutenant and says, seriously, dude, this is what's happening. And lieutenant's like, give me your badge. I can't take it anymore. So that's how the floppy
I just don't understand, like, why a floppy disk? Like, who the hell is using a floppy disk anymore for anything?
This was, to be fair, this was set in like the 90s.
Oh,
See, I didn't know that. Is it set in the 90s?
Yeah, there's a reason why they like none of them had cell phones. They were old cars. They had old computers. All that.
I thought they didn't have cell phones just because he inhaled all of them into.
That's called that's an independent film on a budget.
Yeah, no. This was set in like late 80s, early 90s. I was assuming.
All right, so I think this goes in butt first, right?
Yeah.
Julie Chen Bruce. All right, yes. Allison. Next, we have a little dog.
It's the family dog. They're in the beginning of the movie when he's experimenting with what he can get in his butt. Chip puts little Gizmo in his butthole. Okay, and Gizmo is gone for 9 years. So I'm going to go with don't do it. It's going to move around a lot and maybe cause a little gas.
Now, is Gizmo higher or lower than the Perseverance?
Higher.
Higher? Okay. So you'd rather have Gizmo
I think the other way around.
Yeah.
Really? But Gizmo
to be fair,
moves.
I also had Perseverance up in the like can't feel good area. So
okay. Well,
for me, the Perseverance plaque is at least in the shape of something that could go up your booty.
That's true. Okay.
The dog. I'm also
the dog's got claws that's gonna fight.
It's also got fur. Well, that's why I was. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. To be fair, most of these are going to go in the don't do it. It's just what order do they go in the don't do it.
Next, we have a TV remote.
This is a-hole approved for me.
Yeah, that's
what
fine.
I was thinking too. Yeah,
that's fine.
Like there are worse things to put up your butt than a TV remote. It's
this is likely going to get trapped there. As an FYI.
Yeah, and plus, a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched it yet. I don't know who hasn't watched it yet, but
it is.
Stop watching now and come back.
This is part of the mechanism that the cop or the detective makes the bomb out of. Is this TV remote? So very pivotal to the plot.
We're gonna get to that. Yes, sir.
So, a-hole approved. I think it's a good shape. No sharp edges. The buttons are probably like ribbed for his pleasure kind of feeling.
Conversely, something that's not good, the batteries inside of it. If there's some battery leakage at any point, that's corrosive and could be awful.
Yeah, that is a good point. This is a PSA to anybody, to the 3 people that are watching right now. If you put a remote up your butthole, take the batteries out first. Make sure safety first. Next, we have a pair of shoes.
I'm going to be honest. I think this would be one shoe at a time. And this is a butt first for me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is middle of the pack. Nothing good, nothing bad, but it does have a solid exit strategy if you use the laces as kind of like a rope to pull it back out.
Oh Lord Jesus, what are we doing with our lives?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Next we have an extension cord. I think this is a-hole approved.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that goes above the remote, to be honest with you.
I think so
too,
I do actually. Too. It can go as long or short as you want to, and like I said about the extra strategy, you can just like yank it all out of there. Plus, if once the baby and the copper up there, at least like they have like an electric source to or a lasso. That's true. A lot of utility here with the extension cord. Allison,
I love that Rory the Virgo says, my weekly meltdown PSA, batteries.
We're looking out for you, Rory. We're doing it. We do this stuff so you don't have to.
We're here for sparkle education. Sparkle.
That's right. So next we have now who is this, the kid or the baby?
It's the little Asian baby.
Okay.
Well, no. First of all, the baby wasn't Asian.
The baby was a little white kid, but the child
was Asian.
From the bring your kids to whatever to work
so
day.
But to be fair, this is a 2-in-1 because it does put a baby and a 10-year-old-ish child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, this is what causes the whole investigation. I'm going to go with don't do it.
Yeah.
I think so too. The question is like, is this above or below a puppy? Like, would you rather have a baby or a puppy up in your
I
your
feel like
mother?
we shouldn't answer this question legally.
I feel like it could come back later to haunt someone in this room, and I'm just going to leave it there.
You know, that's totally fair. So we'll just say don't do it, please.
Yes.
I personally don't think you should do any harm to animals or children or elderly
Of course.
people.
I would hope that goes without saying, but you guys are
Yes.
right.
No,
Yeah,
no,
the
no.
internet is a dumb place. So
Exactly.
next we have a kitten.
The kitten comes into play one night when Detective Fox is following Chip around. And of course, I flipped out during the movie because he's got this carrier next to him, Chip does, in the car, and and I go, he's about to put a kitten in his butt. No. So he does. And later on, Detective finds the empty cat carrier. He finds Oliver's hairs with no cat to go with the hairs. Listen, he keeps finding these little hairs. Did we ever find out what these hairs were? I hate hair. Y'all, y'all know I'm traumatized by hair. You know I hate hairs. Now I'm going with these are anal hairs.
It was like attached to like a chunk of some kind.
I assumed it was some kind of waste that came out.
Okay, and they
like a dingleberry.
Dingleberry. That's what I thought. But they can't DNA test this to find out who it belongs to. Okay. Anyway, so the kitten, I'm gonna say, don't do it if it's anything like Finley. He'll claw his way out. It'll be worse than Alien.
No.
Okay.
I'm putting this above the dog.
Okay.
I feel like a cat is more likely to use the claws.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It is probably more squirmy. I think a dog is a little bit more obedient.
Well, now we come to Detective Fox. Yes, Detective Fox gets shoved in Chip's ass during a game of laser tag. There's a laser tag game. All the kids are having a birthday party. Was it a birthday party? I don't remember.
Yeah,
they had a lot of kids.
Birthday party.
So this brilliant detective who has proceeded to climb trees to spy on his ex-wife and duck real quick when someone sees him because he's stellar, decides to go into a laser tag game with children and just start shooting at Chip.
A real gun.
A real gun.
Not a laser gun.
Shoots Trip in the leg, thinks he's got him. All of a sudden, and he gets sucked in that butthole.
You could say a gust of wind.
A gust of wind. He's sucked in there with the poor Asian kid. And the funny part about this is he gets in there with the kid, the missing kid from the office, and they're sitting. He's like, just calm down. I'm going to show you. The kid's like, I'm going to guide you through here. He ends up coming across his son in there. He's 9 years old. He's covered in shit, doesn't know how to talk, but he's got a haircut. And I'm like, how did he cut his hair? But anyway, he's got plenty of shit literally to live off of. But in the middle of this, little kid showing him around, there's a big that comes up. And the kid says, hold on to something. Hold on to something. And the guy's like, what's going on? And the kid just yells, fart! And Chip farts, and they show him in the hospital, and it's just it's a little squeaker. It's not a big one. You would think it is. And now I'm like, now my mind is going, I wonder if that's what it's like in your butthole when you fart. Like, for sure. It's oh, are you doing that? Oh, yes. He cuts his hair at the floppy. Yeah. Oh.
That sounded like a wet one.
Listen, can you imagine if he had sneezed and farted at the same time? This would have been a whole other movie. That would have got everyone out. But yeah, so that's how he ends up in the butt. Now he's in the butt. And like I said, he discovers his son and he's got to figure out, how are we going to get out of here? There's tons of stuff in here. So he starts upsetting the guy, Chip's stomach and everything. And Chip ends up drinking some kind of elixir that injures the little Asian kid. And you know that I'm sorry, I'm not trying to offend anyone by calling him the little Asian kid.
No, it's fine.
Is that okay?
You're fine.
Yep.
You're fine.
Because this, I don't know what else to call him. He didn't have a name, but he's missing from the office. But and it burns him a little bit. And the guy's like, "That's it, kid. I'm not going to. I got to get my son out of here. I got to get you out of here. I got to get me out of here. I cannot live here. I've been in here a month. He's been in this guy's asshole a month. He builds a bomb, y'all. A bomb out of everything you see in this list. And the sorry game piece right there at the bottom is I'm going to say it's the first piece would be satisfying because he thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's tiny.
I was just going to say, I think that's the top of the top one because he got much excitement out of that. He got so much excitement. It is a correct shape, albeit a little tiny, but.
And it's in his ass. And it's part of the bomb, I guess. He uses everything in there for the bomb. This guy, Chip, gets an award for the laser tag shooting because he's a hero, because supposedly he stopped the guy. Well, he did. He put him in his ass, but nobody knows that, and saved these children by taking a bullet. And he's up, and the lieutenant that didn't believe Fox and all these people, they're going to give him this medal and everything. And he's standing up there, and all of a sudden his stomach starts, you know that sound. Y'all know that sound when you expect, you know, that embarrassing sound, you know, that happens when it's really quiet and you're nervous and it starts doing that. Yeah. Dave. But anyway, he's up there about to accept this award, and this man make this bomb that Stephen Baldwin has made goes off. And wait,
time out. When this happened, I said, this is going to explode the dude, but somehow they're all miraculously going to be okay.
Wait, I missed something. We missed a key part.
What's this?
This all started because he upset Chip's stomach, and things started coming out of his ass. The floppy came out of his ass in the toilet, and the dog.
So we missed that part, but it wasn't that he started upsetting his stomach. It was that he finally found where the rectum was, because another doctor does a rectal exam and he sees the fingers come through, and he went, there we go. So he starts forcing things to come back through the hole, which makes Chip need to go to the bathroom.
And that's what it looks like when you're in someone's butt.
It was like,
that's what it looks like.
Like that.
It's a butthole. And guess who you see in there? You see me. But yeah, he finds the rectum and he figures out how to push things and get things out. And the dog that's been missing for 10 years shows up covered with doo-doo balls in his fur, and Chip wipes them off.
Which was very obviously actually a can of baked beans that they put on his dog.
100%.
Like, I'm really thankful that they didn't do anything more sinister than that for this dog. But like, poor dog, for the purposes of a film.
Yeah.
Somehow you were inexplicably still alive after 10 years, essentially.
Yeah. And the wife,
there's a sign inside that says "Days in the Hole," and there's like a bunch of
days in the hole on the wall. It's so fucking fun. Listen, he gives the dog, like, he puts the dog on the steps of the house and then runs back in the house, rings the doorbell, and the wife's like, "Oh my God, Gizmo," or whatever the dog's name is. And she's loving he's so wet. And I'm like, it's because he's covered in shit. You can't smell that. Do you have COVID? Do you not know what's wrong with you? I can smell poo-poo a mile away when it's on somebody. But yeah.
So anyway, that's our tier list here for
he blows up the guy, and people got doo-doo balls in their hair. And the detective returns his son to his ex-wife and gives the ex-wife's new husband a nod and walks off into the sunset. And everyone is just shocked that this man just blew up and all these things blew up out of him. But we have no explanation. We have no idea how this man is able to do this.
Yeah. What I just love is like the actual explosion, right? Like we know that like it's coming, like you can see it on his face. It's like, oh God. But like what I love is like the sound of the fart before the explosion.
Oh, come on, we need the fart.
It's the wimpiest thing ever. It's like
it's the tiniest little fart, and then he blows.
and blood goes everywhere. Like all of his guts are just like scattered like across everybody, and that's the legacy. Right?
That was a good one.
I love it.
Yep.
Oh God. Rory says, quick tangent. What else would go in the S tier?
So
Allison,
what we were ranking were purely the things that.
Why am I the expert?
We're not gonna experiment with other things.
Listen, I empower everybody to safely experiment however they want. Just remember that golden rule of always have an exit strategy. Safety first. But
start small.
Everybody has a different S tier. That's what I'll say.
I just wish we came really close to having the actual writer of this movie.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out, but maybe we can talk to him sometime, because I just want to know what the pitch meeting to get funds for this movie. How do you, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what happened?
I'm always gonna call Tyler.
Yeah.
Everyone has an S tier.
Everyone has a what?
Everyone has their own S tier.
They probably do.
Say their own S tier. Everyone has an S tier.
How did I miss that? It's another Ambler moment.
Right. Rory suggests an LOS. Yeah, that is that could potentially be an S tier.
You know,
I'm so awkward talking about this. God.
I don't know what to say. Look, Captain Obvious has been trying to get up there for 21 years.
Get up where?
And in the butt. And it ain't happening. The one time that we tried, Allison's head flew into the headboard because I went, nope. And I was like, that's good. And I almost knocked myself out. And we almost went to the ER. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
And that was it. Now I'm like, look, I'll get somebody for you. If you want to go experience it one time, look, I'll get you a prostitute. I'll find somebody. I'll put an ad on Craigslist. Just do it and get it out of your fucking system. I'm tired of hearing about it.
But what if he liked it so much it becomes a recurring?
Right.
Yeah. You could be like, it could be like a can of Pringles. Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
Right. Yeah. And then who knows? Maybe he can have his own tier list that you don't even know.
Speaking of which, just to answer Rory's question, a can of Pringles would, for me at least, probably be S tier in comparison to everything else on that list.
You know, Captain Obvious loves Pringles.
There you go.
And Fritos.
Now I'm just looking at this microphone a little different.
I'm thinking, listen, I've got a big one over here.
That microphone looks like it's from like the 50s.
That's the point.
Sounds like when you talk into it, you should talk like this.
I got this. I got this from
this microphone could be a dildo.
This is from
Put it up your ass.
Your favorite place, Hobby Lobby.
Wait, can you see through it?
Yeah, it's not real.
Oh. Well, then what are you speaking into? Didn't I get you a mic? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is my.
I was gonna say, did you throw away the mic that I got you?
No, when I did the old Mimnash Radio podcast 8 years ago, I got one of these.
I see. Okay. All right.
So so it's on my desk.
I have a feeling that this show is going to be what gets me fired someday.
Well, I'm sorry.
I've said worse tonight. So
no. I mean, in particular, this show, not this podcast. This show, and you know what? Worth it.
Yeah.
Listen, to be honest with you, this was a good movie. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I laughed so hard, my chest hurt. There were some underlying, things about addiction. This guy was seriously addicted, and addiction really isn't anything to laugh at. And the guy really had a problem. And I think that they were really addressing addiction in a unique way. It's like, well, everybody's got an addiction. What if we made a film, like a real film about addiction, and just put this little comedic or whatever spin on it? And it really worked. And these actors were really committed. Like they went all in. They didn't break one time. This guy that played Chip.
I'm sure they broke plenty of times.
Oh, I'm sure they do when it wasn't rolling the film. But I mean, like he really, I believed it in his eyes and his face, everything that he literally was putting Gizmo in his butthole.
Yeah.
And I could feel, every time the detective, he looked like this a lot, Detective Fox. He's just frustrated and he doesn't know what to get. He's a little, he's climbing. His ex-wife left him after the baby went missing in the park. But what I'm kind of wondering is, how did Chip get the baby in the park when she was holding the baby and he's got to pull his pants down and do the whole twister thing? Look, do you love it? You know what I'm doing right now?
No.
I'm simulating open butt cheeks.
I will say something that was tastefully done in this movie was every time we saw him, even with that one thing, it looks like he's pulling his cheeks apart. He's really nice. Just so you don't actually see hole, which I'm thankful for.
Well, would have had a different rating.
Yeah.
Very much would have.
I want to reiterate to anybody listening to this, like, it is not a pornographic movie. It is not a serious, like, it's like so bad it's funny. It's like one of those.
It's supposed to be a movie that you watch when you're really friggin' high to have a good laugh. Like that. It's a movie to Allison's point. That's a good commentary. You can make this about not just about addiction. We could talk about, maybe Chip and his ass represent, corporate America and how, it just a little bit gets them going and then they can suck more from you and more and more and more until you are just a part of the machine itself.
Yeah.
I mean that hole is basically Jeff Bezos's bank account. That's how I see it.
Honey.
You know who I feel like would be a really good guest for this show to talk about all of this is Bianca Del Rio. I could just see her
I would die.
Well, if we want to talk about other movies that were made not to be good, but to be entertaining, Hurricane Bianca is a perfect one. That movie is not like, wow, it's going to be nominated for a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
It's like you watch it because you want to see Bianca Del Rio read people to filth as a character, and you see a few other people from Drag Race and a few other gay icons and that kind of thing. And then it just turns into, the plot loosely makes sense. Like, it's a funny show.
Maybe we should do a watch party for our patrons for that.
I would love
And there's
to do
a
that.
Hurricane Bianca 2, which it's the only movie ever that I actually was at the premiere of.
There you go.
And got to be there when the cast and everybody did a panel. It was a moment. It was amazing. It was I was so happy. I went by myself. It's where I met quite a few of them.
There you go.
Darian. I met Darian a couple days before that too.
Well, I highly recommend this movie. I mean, it's a lot of fun. My parents watched it. I made them watch it. And then my dad calls me at 10 o'clock that night and goes, "That's Sam. Hell's wrong with you?" He's like, "What is wrong with you? Why would you tell me and your mother to watch this?" And I go, "Well, one, Dad, you love farts. You love anything has to do with farting and shitting. We laugh constantly. We talk about poop and farting constantly. This man tortured me farting in front of my friends, and I didn't have very many friends. And when I had him over, he had to fart. So, I mean, it's just a constant, and it's just the whole, I see now I can't go anywhere. I can't go. My mom said she couldn't handle it. But see, my mom is thinking she's too logical. She's really, I just don't understand how he's able to do this. Are they going to explain it? Why is he able to put things in his anus, Allison? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't write it.
But
I think it's not meant to be that kind of movie. The guy has an addiction. A lot of people have addictions. He tried to overcome his addiction. He couldn't do it. Someone had to crash the party, and it was Detective Fox. Yep. And that's really it. There really isn't anywhere else for me to go with this review. That I think you should watch it, and I think you should comment here what you think about it. I don't know. My husband, he still hasn't watched it yet. He's the one that recommended we do this because he heard me laughing so hard while we were doing it. And I told him, everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm turning 30 this year, right? And like, I'm like looking back at like everything I've accomplished in my life, and honestly, recapping this movie, is probably number one on that list. Are you okay, Beth?
Sorry, I just got the news notification that the House voted to remove Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from committee roles. So
yeah, I saw that too. Maybe she's going up the hole.
Maybe she's in the hole.
Yeah, right.
She is certainly stuck up somebody's ass. Let's be 100%.
That is
we friggin' know who it is too. Yeah. So.
I just, I wonder, and it's like I said when we were watching it, I wonder if when you watch this movie, how serious some of these actors were, if they even really knew what this film was about. It, like if they came into it, I mean, just going into it, just kind of, okay, there's a missing person. And I wonder if they kind of set it up for them a certain way. And then towards the whatever, we're like, well, this is actually about a man with addiction sticking things in his butthole.
Well, you also have to assume there are some kids in this too, and you have to assume that they didn't tell the kids like you're in a butt right now.
Can you imagine?
Although he did yell fart, so I guess maybe he did. I don't know, but imagine being that young and acting a scene where you're like, oh, okay, I got to get in the mindset. I'm a child who is stuck in an ass.
I mean, 20 years from now, right? 20 years from now, right? This kid has a really good 2 truths and a lie thing.
Oh, hell yes. Yeah.
This kid is going to be the best when it comes to Never Have I Ever.
Yeah. I mean, like my one of those for me is I was on Slime Time Live for Nickelodeon. So he can say, I was in Butt Boy, the movie, 20 years ago.
You might not want to say I was in Butt Boy.
I appeared in
to your point, you might want to say the movie afterwards. I was in Butt Boy. They're like, who was Butt Boy in?
I mean, I would like to think that like 20 years from now, like everybody will have seen this movie. It's we are ahead of the time here at My Weekly Meltdown. So
I really think we are. There's not a lot of followers on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Yeah. So hit them up. Let them know you watched the movie. Give them some support because I really think this was an original film.
We want a prequel. We want like more about Chip's life.
Know.
Like we saw the very end. Like I want to know like how like his whole life, like how it got to like that point in that prostate exam.
I want a part 2. I want to see if his wife is happier without her.
Yeah, but they have to name it Butt Boy number 2.
Oh! I've called it. Okay, so she has to go to AA because of her whole drinking thing, and the detective becomes her sponsor.
Wow.
There you go. There you go, Beth. I think this is your $1 million idea.
I think you should go ahead and start writing it. Maybe we can get you in touch. What is it? Never have I ever been entirely in someone's ass.
And he's like, damn it. Like, how many fingers do you have to put down? 3. It's like,
I think you should watch it with some friends. It's
while
fun.
Under the influence.
Look, I was totally straight-laced the whole time. You saw how much I got a kick out of it.
And that's so true. My like, God. We are talking about addiction in addition to being like, you have to be high or drunk. Like, I was the one who originally said that. But like,
to be drunk or high to watch it.
and the truth is, like, I totally agree. This is a movie to watch with other people, unless you're somebody who can get their, kicks watching stuff like this by themselves. But this is a movie to laugh and point out the ridiculousness with other people. Yeah. And it was entertaining. It was, in my opinion, it wasn't a waste of like an hour. Oh,
absolutely
and a half of my life,
not.
You know what I mean?
I enjoyed it more because I watched it with these two, and that's what made it so much fun. Like I couldn't stop laughing. I had to mute myself.
Well, I take that as an honor, Allison, that you enjoyed watching Butt Boy, the movie, with Beth and I. So
that is the most fun and the hardest I have laughed in a long time. And I'll be honest with you guys, you don't even know. I released a lot during this movie laughing that
So did
actually
Chip.
it released some stress.
To be fair, he
So
was laughing when he did it.
there was a bomb inside of me that went off during this movie. It was a happy bomb, not a butt bomb. But man, I just loved it. I thought it was great. I highly recommend. Watch it with friends. Have fun. Have fun. It's a good fun movie. Hey, if you're on a date for the first time
Don't
and you want to
watch
watch it, no, I recommend you watch this together. No, because
No.
this way you will
Not
see.
a first date. I think
No.
this is good for someone that you've
It
met.
is a first date movie, Beth, and I'm going to tell you why.
First of
Yes,
all,
it is.
I'm a staunchly someone that you do not watch a movie on the first date because the whole point of it is that you can't talk.
Well, listen, after you're done talking and you've had a couple of drinks and you're at one of the houses of the person alone and you want to watch a movie, watch the movie. This, you will find out if this person has a sense of humor or not. Because if they roll their nose up to this movie and you think it's hilarious, go ahead, cut ties.
Yeah, you'll
That's
either meet your spouse or you'll end up on a government list somewhere.
Right.
So yeah.
What did he say? What a release! It was a release.
What a both. What a release.
It was a very. I want to thank Rory the Virgo for being in the chat tonight.
He's been lighting it up.
Yeah.
He's been lighting it up like a lit fart.
I think that's everything.
Listen, if there's anything on the planet that makes me laugh is farting. Listen, I
can't do
listen. That. Can I tell you a story real quick? Can I tell a story real quick?
Yeah.
First day of school, 8th grade.
Oh boy.
Mr. Henderson math class. Front row by the door. Like there were rows, and then you had the front door, and that first row, I don't want to mention the kid's name, but he was sitting right by the front door. Okay. And my little friend Carrie Allen was in this class with me. She and I are still friends this day, and we look at each other and start laughing, and we know where the story's going because we just can't stop. This kid on these plastic seats. You think about it, man. These plastic school chairs, sneezes and farts so hard. He comes up off the chair. And I'm literally 3 seats behind this guy, diagonal. And I just happen to look over in slow motion and see this whole thing. I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I was sitting over there with a little, we were so bad that you get under control. Everyone under control. Everyone does it, but not at the same time. That is when someone does it at the same time, this should be celebrated. This is a snort.
That is
amazing.
That is what Rory the Virgo said is what a release.
What a release.
Yes. That is what it's all about. And to this day, and to this day, I will never forget it when the bell rang, when class was out. That kid bolted out that fucking door so fast, and when
he ran away, was it like
pretty much? I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you how horrible I was in the 6th grade. I was sitting next to this other guy. I won't mention his name because both these guys are friends with me on Facebook. This one guy, I was sitting behind him. And I farted so loud on those plastic seats, and everybody looked, and I pointed at him, and everybody thought it was him. And he goes, "Oh, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me." And years later, I ran into him, and he was 30 working at Blockbuster. And he was like, "Oh my God, I remember you." And we actually started laughing about it. And I'm like, "Is this why you're working at Blockbuster? At 30, did I ruin your life?" And he's like, "No, I'm in school, whatever." But it was funny because he had a sense of humor about it. But it was funny. Even I hiked up my leg in it. But anyway, so that is the show. I could go on all day, do a show about the sneaky shit I've done. But anyway, with farting and pooping and stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my weekly Meltdown on YouTube. Watch Butt Boy. Leave a comment in the comments because we might come back and interview the guy if I can get in touch with him. Seriously, I want to interview him, and what questions you might have for this guy. And one of the writers.
I just have a lot of like logistical questions about like how the whole works. You know, what in terms of like, you know, how does he have this like great like vortex sucking ability?
I told you. That's what butts do. Which is why you gotta have something that stops it. He clearly just has a bigger pull than most people do.
Wait a minute. So what you're telling me is when I have to fart, that is because air's been sucked up in my butt.
No.
I thought
I'm saying if you're putting something in your butt, it because normally the muscles work the other way where they're pushing things out. When you're pushing against that, it creates like a gravitational pull. And that's why things will, if they don't have an appropriate end on them, which should be wider or like a flat cap or something like that, that will go up against the rectum or the butthole, it will just get sucked in there. And you got to hope and pray that there's a way for you to grab it. Because if not, that's a trip to the ER.
You know, there was an episode of ER where a guy had something stuck in his ass, like, and George Clooney had to, and I don't remember what it was. But I don't know. There's some crazy people will eat Tide Pods. I'm sure. I don't even know where to begin with this. This is really we got to figure out what we're doing with our lives moment. But I think we should watch the
Bianca Del Rio movie,
Hurricane Bianca.
Hurricane Bianca.
I think that's a patron show. I think that would be
perfect. We should do a patron watch party with that, and then kind of go from there. And then there's a second one too. So if people liked the first one, we could always do a second one as another watch party.
Yeah.
And I'm currently trying to find another movie for us to watch, and we don't necessarily have to watch it together, but I'm looking for another movie for us to watch to do on the regular show. We've come up with Clue. I've said Gremlins 1 and 2. I came across Xanadu today. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Also,
I kind of want to do Killer Clowns from Outer Space next.
I'm down.
If there are clowns,
it's so bad though. Like it's like
it can't be any worse than what we just said. I want
to point out something that is legitimately true, and people make fun of me for this all the time. I have a very big fear of clowns. And anything that has a clown-like feature to it can freak me out. And people always laugh and make fun of me because they're like, but you're friends with Trixie Mattel, or you like Bianca Del Rio or stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah. But you know who's not a clown, but freaks me the fuck out is the Burger King King. He scares me so much. And I like legitimately can't watch the television when he's because he's just like,
does he scare you more than Ronald McDonald?
Yeah, I'm about to say Ronald McDonald isn't even around.
Ronald McDonald's an actual clown, but he doesn't scare me as much because that is an unnatural smile that motherfucker has, and it is plastic. And they used to have that commercial where he was giant and looked in this girl's apartment. Like, yes, like that.
Oh my God, I remember that. So
do you remember? She was like in some kind of like high building apartment in New York City, like on the 36th floor. And then all of a sudden the fucking Burger King's like, would you like a Whopper? And you're like, like it's awful.
You're like, no, I don't.
No, thank you.
I don't want it from you. To the point, I made it very clear that this wasn't a joke, bitch, that this guy freaked me out. And one of my friends, my senior year, came into a rehearsal with the mask on, tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around, saw the clown, punched him in the face.
Yeah, I'm not
terrified now.
I'm terrified. I broke a clown's nose with my head once in a haunted house because the people behind me got really scared. So what do? You throw the little 4'11" girl in front of you in front of danger. And my head went forward and the guy came around the corner and went, and I went, and I had like his blood in my hair from his nose. It was so effed up.
I also once, when I was in New Orleans and I had quite a few drinks at this point, my friends and I were like, let's go get pizza. And these locals were like, the best pizza place for you to go is down this like little alley to the left. And we're like, are you trying to get us hurt? And they're like, no, seriously. Like, it seems sketchy, but it's like, it's so good. So we had like 6 of us and we all went down this alley and we got into this pizza place. It was really good pizza. But right outside the pizza place, because it's an alley, is like all this garbage. And there was a clown passed out on top of the garbage with like a bottle in his hand. And I cried, and I'm already drunk. So like crying comes easily to drunk Beth. And I'm like,
oh my God, I need to say this.
We get in there and the guy's like, oh, that's just lucky. He's a good guy. Don't worry about it. And then we left, and I had mentally prepared to see this guy, and he was fucking gone. And that scared me even more because I was like, he could be anywhere. He could be anywhere. I expected him to be there. He could be anywhere. Not a fun night after that. I cried for a long time.
Listen, y'all. Thanks. If something really messes with you, it messes with you. Allison's still scared of Barrel Guy from Megan is Missing. Okay,
I'll say my number one fear is bees. Because we had to watch My Girl in middle school.
That will do it.
And yeah, say no more.
Why did you have to watch My Girl
in middle school?
It was part of like learning about like death and like the grieving process. It's like part of our
a movie to talk about that with.
But it was like in like health class that we like had to watch that movie, and it was like a rite of passage in 6th grade. Like everybody had to watch My Girl, so yeah, I like bees like still terrify me to this day. I don't want anything to do with them. I will not kill one. I will not go near one. I will run far away if one like ever comes close to me. It just like terrifies me. I hate that.
You know, we're giving Satan ideas from when we go to hell. You realize that right now.
Well, you know what I really hate? I really hate being around people who are fun and we watch like fun movies and stuff.
Yeah, like I hate YouTube TV with an unlimited DVR.
Believe me, Sam, I would love to test the theory about what Tyler and I are like drunk together. We did have dinner together last year.
Listen,
actually, almost exactly a year ago.
That is true. Yeah,
I would fully support a drunk show. I don't drink, however, but the two of you, if we wanted to do a show and you guys had some drinks and we just did the BS show, I would totally be.
I would totally do that,
show.
Allison. I would
show.
just be like smoking weed, and like I know like sober Allison would just be like the funniest thing to me.
Listen,
I'm like,
I don't. It's been proven.
We need somebody to be our designated driver.
This does not need enhancement.
No.
Right.
Let's be 100% honest. We need Tyler ripped and we need Beth drunk. And like, honestly, that combination is like,
I will be in heaven.
These two have been on a call with me when I've been like really out of it. Like I did some day drinking this summer.
4th of July.
Yeah, it was 4th of July. I had done a lot of day drinking and I was getting ready to go to my aunt and uncle's. And then I was like, I'll call you guys. And then I was just literally like,
God, I
don't even remember what I said, but
I was dressed up on a float for Ghostbusters, y'all.
And I love you guys so much. I love being a part of this.
I'm a lovey drunk.
Slimer was
there. If you upset me, I quickly become like a crying drunk. And that's not fun.
Be fun. We should do that.
But I'm a fun drunk.
Allison, what kind of drunk do you think I am?
I can just see you standing in a corner, just judging everyone.
I'm actually a very like happy, complimentary drunk. Like I'll tell you both, like, oh my God, you guys are the most beautiful women in the world. Like I'm so lucky to like have you guys as friends. But like if I'm high, it's just like a giggle fest at like everything. So I think that's what I would rather do. And yes, Rory the Virgo, you are more than welcome to come on any of our shows. So we would love to have you at any point.
Specifically because you are since you've used this like Sparkle patron Sparkle.
Yeah.
Right. That's just a wonderful reminder, Rory and others out there. If you are a patron or if you'd like to become a patron, we do have our patrons come join us. Whether it's for coverage on like the challenge, for example, or on a BS breakdown, or if we're going to do something specifically like this and you wanted to come on and join us, you're more than welcome to do so. We try very hard not to have more than 4 people on the show at a time, but depending on what the show is, that kind of thing, just hit us up. And the other that does bring us to one last point that I did want to bring up as well. If you would all do us a favor, if you have us downloaded on Apple Podcasts, could you please review and rate us?
Yes,
give us a star rating. And if you would feel so, empowered to just write a little review, that really helps our podcast get discovered by others. And we have seen some steady growth in the podcast in our downloads, but that kind of thing could really help our visibility. So if you like the show, if you want to support us in a way and you can't be a patron or you're already a patron and you want to do something else to support us, that's a wonderful way to do so. And we would thank you very, very much for taking the time to do that.
Let me say something real quick. Y'all want to talk about drunk Allison back in the day? Real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. Back in 1998,
I was 10.
I was 7.
I was 21. I had hung out on the weekend. Like when I didn't do this when I was with my son. Okay. I had like Saturday nights. My son stayed with his father and one night during the week so I could go to acting class. But why is that? I don't care. Like, why do you need to know that? Anyway, so on Saturday night, I would go hang out with my friend Tommy and Lindsay. Okay. And Tommy was a musician and Lindsay was just hilarious. And I had a huge crush on Vince Vaughn. This was like after Swingers came out and Maid hadn't come out yet, but he was in the new Jurassic Park movie. He'd just been cast. Psycho came out, the updated version of Psycho, which we won't talk about. But anyway, I had been in love with him I love him. And so he was sitting there with his guitar and we had martinis that night. Okay. And we were smoking cloves because we were hipsters. Okay. I had the sunglasses on. Me and Lindsay are sitting on the floor with sunglasses on. I got bangs and a haircut. I have this CD and the picture. Then I will find it.
Like that?
Yes. I will find this and we will listen to it and you will see it. We created a group that night called Martini Shot. And we did a blues song of him playing the guitar all about Vince Vaughn. And it's just, well, it's mainly Lindsay and just me mumbling, let them dinosaurs go. I mean, just talking about, just quote things from his movies and stuff and the picture of us on the cover. But anyway, that is the kind of stuff that I did. I thought I was, I've also been known to do karaoke and Gangster's Paradise. Okay. And rap songs and all kinds of stuff. Just typical crazy drunk white girl shit. So we'll go through those stories during our drunk show. But
That
I'm
would
just
be a
letting
good
you know.
PS breakdown is to just exchange drunk stories some night.
Yeah,
I
think that's
I've walked through a McDonald's drive-through and demanded a McDouble. So there's plenty.
I
of
did
stories.
that sober though. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps it up for tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday to recap the next episode of the challenge. And on the 18th of February, we're going to be recapping season 1 of The Mandalorian with our friend Kyle. So I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it for the things I do for Allison, right? I watch Butt Boy.
I'm doing something for you. This is an amazing show you need to be watching.
Yeah, it's all right so far. So we'll be talking about all of that in season 1. And then Beth and I will be planning a Nintendo show where we're talking about the 35th anniversary for Mario. And then we're going to do another show for Zelda as well. Both of us are big gamers, so can't wait to talk about all of that stuff as well.
And you know what I've realized, and you're going to hurt me with this, it's my specialty is really Nintendo and Super Nintendo Mario, because I didn't really play anything past that, but I watched my brother play a lot of he played like Sunshine and like all those kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to have your take.
I listen to a Nintendo podcast every week. Like I'm a big
love that.
fan, so I'll fill the gaps for any knowledge that we have. But all right, everybody, we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.